Hello, this is Natalie Joel on GoTarryn TV. I'm a Banting coach, a keto coach, and today I'm talking with Taryn about the upcoming holidays and what we can do not to put on weight, how to cope with going out with friends, and how to enjoy while you're doing all these things. This is GoTarryn TV. Thank you. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. And again, as always, appreciate you being able to come back here. So since you and I last chatted, I thought it'd be interesting to get you on here today because now we're approaching the holidays, especially here in the United States with this weekend. We've got Halloween. That's a big one. We've got Thanksgiving next month. And the month after that, we got Christmas. And we've got Hanukkah and New Year's and all these other different holidays for everybody. And So I just wanted to find out today and maybe speak to you about how to prepare for the holidays. And in other words, holidays seem to be a time when people tend to overeat, gorge, and kind of just not pay attention to their exercise regimens. So just to start out here, my first question to you first, because you're in South Africa, what are the major big holidays down there where you're at that are coming up?
We have public holidays. Everybody's sits around doing nothing and eating, basically. Socializing, eating, reading and eating. And Monday we're having local municipal elections, and there's a public holiday.
Oh, interesting.
So they're not going to vote. They'll go home and they'll see what they can do before and after. Then we have coming up, I think the first one, South African one, would be the public holiday in the middle of December. And then Christmas, New Year, and the Jewish holiday is Hanukkah. There's the Indian holiday, Hindu, I think it is, Diwali coming up. Diwali is, I think, in the coming week.
Okay.
This weekend it could be Diwali. So Diwali is also a big thing for people who follow that in this country. A lot of lights, fireworks, and parties, and eating, that type of thing. And so that's the first one coming up this weekend. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so that's a lot. I think because where you're at, you're so much more multicultural than us here in the United States. It tends to focus more on, just 2 or 3 major holidays here, and that's about it. But, the one common thing that it seems like where you're at and where I'm at is you mentioned it about the eating and then partying and then more eating and then maybe some drinking and more eating on top of that. So, again, you're the expert on that topic and drinking, right? Absolutely. Maybe some alcohol. So I guess the other question kind of following up on that is, let's just, figure if you have a client that you're working with and he or she asks you, okay, Natalie, I'm really worried because, holidays are coming up and I always slip up and I fall down and gain weight. I tend to do that. What are some of the, big talking points? What are some of the primary kind of objectives that you work with your clients and tell that person?
Okay, firstly, the keto, the low-carb way of eating it's a lifestyle way of doing things. It's not a diet. So it's not that I've got 2 months, I have to lose the weight, blah, blah, blah. It's a lifestyle choice. And one has to realize that in a lifestyle, things happen and don't beat yourself up. You just move on. Because if you start saying, I'm bad, how can you be bad about eating an extra piece of whatever? Bad is you slap your children too hard, you beat up someone. Bad is you knock somebody over and you don't stop to help them. That's bad. But you can't say that food, eating or not eating is bad or good because it criminalizes what you're doing and it makes it worse. It gives yourself eating issues and you don't want issues. You want eating to be a pleasurable thing. You eat when you're hungry. You stop when you're full. So if you're going to be going out, I normally suggest to people that they don't go hungry, because if you're going to go hungry somewhere, you're going to be like a vacuum cleaner and you're going to suck everything. But you'll be feeling awful, because the whole purpose of this way of eating is to stop all the garbage, as I say, carb rubbish to eat, and to stop the pain and the irritation. And if you're starving when you go somewhere, you're going to weaken and you're going to eat whatever you see. So it's always advice is to go somewhere where you're not starving. You can be a bit hungry, but make sure you've had something to eat before you go. The second thing is, if it's a sit-down meal, it's always advisable to tell your host or your host this. Look at say, what's one day? But so you can say to them, you got it for various health reasons, because your health is most important to you. And you suggest not having to ask what it is. You can give them a few suggestions of what foods are not good for you. So if you want, I can bring a salad or a starter or dessert, so you know that there is something that you can eat. Because to go somewhere and think, I won't be able to eat a thing, and if you think on the other side, the host or hostess has spent hours, money, energy to make something, because they want you to come, they want you to enjoy the food.
Right.
And then you come and say, I don't eat that. How are you going to feel? You know, it negates the whole reason of why you're socializing, is to improve friendships, to make yourselves feel good with your friends, and to say, I don't eat that is not the way to go about it. So I always advise to let people know, or if you're going to a hotel or to a restaurant, beforehand and say, what do you have that I can eat? And go through the menu so that they know, and you know what they can have, without making a whole palaver when they arrive there, and know that you can eat something. Because normally a salad, you ask without the dressing, or whatever it is, you can ask. Most places are very happy to accommodate you. They want your business. And if you're going to a place where there's tons of food, still make sure that you're not there ravenous and not starving, so that you can eat something without falling on it like a starving wolf.
Yeah, that's good. I like that, Natalie. You know, so a lot of what you said, it's really thinking ahead and taking some time to just kind of organize, and it's almost like, it sounds like a preemptive maneuver. In other words, not being reactive, but rather proactive, in other words.
Yes.
And that's so similar to exercise too, isn't it? Because you find out a lot of people who, just gain the weight, or kind of just get lethargic and not into an exercise routine, and then just figure, well, I better do something. But, it definitely seems like it'd be better to do something ahead of time, so that way they can avoid that.
Yeah, because I have this little motto I like to say to people: if you plan to fail, if you fail to plan, plan to fail.
Very profound. I like that. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. I mean, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy in many ways. It truly is. Yeah, you're right. Well, again, you've hit it so well on that, and with the going out and eating and drinking and socializing, there also comes the peer pressuring, because sometimes people will get almost talked into, oh, come on, it's the holidays, you can have another drink, or you can eat that cookie or cake. What's your advice, Natalie, on people who kind of tend to feel like they're peer pressured and they don't want to disappoint or upset the guests or hosts or what have you, if they're there to, not wanting to, I guess, what's the word, maybe just let them down or disappoint them? I mean,
that's why I feel it's important to let the host know before you turn up, a few days, not because they might already prepared all that you've got certain health issues at the moment, and you want to make sure that there's not sugar in everything, there's not this. Have they got a simple roast beef without, just a couple of suggestions to them, so they won't feel they have to pressurize you. And then for drinking, water is fantastic. You can have water with ice, you can have water with lemon, with mint, with ginger, with anything, that type of thing, with a tea, iced tea. You can make it your own tea bags, pour it, make a cup and pour it into a glass with sparkling water. There are a whole range of things. You don't need the diet sodas, which are not good for us, or the other sodas, or the ordinary regular sodas, that you don't need to have those type of drinks. And alcohol, there are some alcohols that are low carb, or very, very low carb, that are okay to have a drink while you're out. You can just hold it the whole time while you're there, that you don't have to feel, I'm the only one not having a whiskey. You can have a whiskey, have a small whiskey, and make it last as long as you're not the driver going home. Things like that.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean that's really good. And another statistic here, Natalie, that is always interesting here in America, the average amount of weight, and again, I know there it's in kilograms, here it's in pounds. So in numbers of pounds that people will gain from this point up until New Year's is on average about 7 pounds, which I think that might be equivalent to say about 2.5. Yeah, right, 2.5 kilograms. And so if that's the case, yeah, right, maybe 3 kilos. So is that roughly about what you find with the same thing in terms of from, let's say, early November through the end of December, early January?
End of January, yeah. Because January, our schools only go back mid-January. We closed in mid-December, early December. So the people are on their school holidays. They go away if they can, and they let go.
Yeah, and that's such a good point because, with the holidays, Natalie, here, and it never fails, whenever I'm trying to exercise or if I'm visiting my family and I'm out of town or wherever, it always seems like the gyms are closed because of the holidays, because, hey, it's the holidays, you don't have to work out, you don't have to exercise. So a lot of times I won't get a chance to even go in the gym if I want to because of the schedule. And so with that, I know you and I have discussed alternatives in the past, but maybe to kind of reiterate and focus on that. So let's say that the gyms are closed and COVID too. We talked about that with during the pandemic, you couldn't go in the fitness centers. So what are some of the options that you like that come to mind, just to kind of look into those again and just maybe tell the people some of the suggestions that you have if, in fact, they're stuck without being able to use the gym during the next couple months?
Well, there are so many amazing programs online that you can actually choose whatever you like and watch it and do it at home online.
Yes.
And if you're busy, your children who probably could be at home from school can join in. They love it. They love seeing mom or dad exercising, and me too, and they follow whatever they can. So that gets them into the idea of also doing gym when they are older. And then we have summer at the moment, so going for walks is nice. It's not, the weather's very pleasant. Our weather is very, very good. In Johannesburg, we are 6,000 feet above sea level, so we don't get extreme heat at night. The temperature drops. It's very pleasant. Even though it can be very hot, it's still livable. So you can walk around outside. You can go for runs. You can walk fast, you can jog, a lot of people have swimming pools, there are public swimming pools, you can go swimming. Not all the gyms are closed, a lot of the gyms are open. I've got a boxing gym I go to and a regular gym, and the regular gym just closes the public holidays, so that's good. That's very nice, yeah.
Oh, that helps a lot, yeah, certainly. I mean, I'm glad to hear that there's so many different options, with that, and, being able to do that. And you touched on it also, Natalie, with the drinking, and here alcohol is pretty big where I'm at. A lot of people love to drink their alcohol, whether it's beer, wine, hard liquor, what have you. And so, you mentioned about being very sensible and making sure that people don't drive. But is that one of the slip-ups that you find, that some people maybe just overdo it and drink too much during this time as well?
Yeah, a lot of people enjoy their alcohol. And I think, what's an extra whatever, and they don't realize it all adds up.
It does, and the calories too, right? The empty calories. And when they do that too, they don't realize how much it just turns into the sugar, and then eventually the extra calories are just sitting there. So. That's one of the ways to avoid it. But you've always mentioned it before too, in drinking water, making sure that you drink more than enough water. So I guess maybe can you tell the people out there a little bit the importance of hydration and rehydrating during the day?
Okay, funny enough, I saw a very interesting clip recently. It said, "Are you ill or are you thirsty?" And it
Ah,
discussed how a certain man who was in prison and they had no facilities, they had no medication, and all they had was water. And people would come to him and said, "Have water." And he'd started noticing that normally if a person took an aspirin or an Advil or whatever it is called, plus water, they'd get better, or whatever medicine, I don't know, I just don't know American names, but they'd take something with water and they'd soon feel better. So he thought this was very strange. Everybody who's coming to him is sick, he tells them who's ill, he tells them to have water. And he couldn't believe how so many people recovered. And he started studying it, and he found that many people were not ill, but they were dehydrated. So
wow.
it's very important to be hydrated. And then on the opposite side, it's very important not to be overhydrated, because you are over too much water in, you wash out all your electrolytes, and then you can die. It can actually kill you. You can have too much water, and it can be a problem. So, in fact, one of my people I very much admire, Professor Tim Noakes, I think he actually wrote a book about too much water.
Oh, okay.
He studies runners and that type of thing, and he found that many people who drank too much when they were running, they actually collapsed, got ill, and it's a major problem to have too much water. So the bottom line is you drink to thirst. You don't say, "Oh, it's a hot day today, I better just drink these 3 bottles of water." That's not the answer. You drink if you're thirsty. But if you feel thirsty, you drink. And often if you think you're hungry, it might be that you're thirsty. So have some water if you hadn't eaten that long beforehand.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I mean, it's like anything in moderation, right? I mean, you can't have too much of a good thing. And, it's just like anything else. Yeah, and when it comes to it, I guess water would be preferable if there is a choice of liquids during the day. No, I mean, when it comes down to it, for example, some people will tell me, "Well, I had 3 cups of coffee this morning. Doesn't that count as water?" Or "I had a Diet Coke." Yeah, so that definitely adds up for sure, doesn't it?
The diet Cokes, I don't want to mention names, I don't know them in America, but the problem with many of the diet drinks is they have sweeteners that are very bad for one. They're worse than sugar.
Right.
They stimulate, many of them, they don't push your sugar levels, but they push your insulin levels, and the body tastes it, whatever it is, and it thinks, sugar's coming, and it pushes up the insulin, and people get insulin spike, and it creates a major problem. So, and some of them are also carcinogenic, so it's best not to have any diet drinks at all, because they are mostly, I think there is 1 or 2 in America that uses approved, so to speak, sweeteners, but on the whole, it's something to stay far away from. Rather have water and flavor it yourself if you want it flavored.
No, that's true. Yeah. In fact, it's funny you said that. There were some research studies that were actually suggesting the correlations in some cancers with some of these different sweeteners that you mentioned from some of the diet soda drinks. So, in fact, they were talking about sports drinks. We have one called Gatorade that's pretty popular here, and they say that the actual Gatorade with real sugar is probably healthier than drinking the Gatorade Zero or Diet Gatorade, because those have all the evil sweeteners in them that, like you said, you don't know what's in them, and so it's very dangerous. People have to be really careful with that. And so, again, Natalie, you've given us so much good help and advice here. And so what do the holidays look like for you and your family coming up? Do you have any big plans for the rest of this year?
Yeah. No, take it slow, take it easy, relax at home. We're also very much last minuters. So we might decide, let's go to the coast. What's available in 3 days' time? But on the whole, we enjoy being home, relaxing, reading, sitting in our garden. And Johannesburg, as I said, is very, very nice in summer. Yeah, so, and also to go away in peak season is not great, because the beaches are full, the parking is awful, the traffic is terrible. So we're lucky it's just the 2 old goats at home. We don't have kids running around, so we can go wherever we want.
No, that's good. That's a great advantage. I know that we've talked about this before too. The as far as getting out of the pandemic and the virus and such, it seems like we're about on the same wavelength on time. But are you finally? Are they coming out of the woods now? Or is everything slowing down and kind of getting better with the vaccines?
Amazing,
Good, good.
amazing. The last few days have been about 300 new cases, which
Oh, wow.
is very low. Very
Oh,
low.
good, good. Yeah, that's a good
So,
thing. Yeah, that's because I remember you were
yeah.
telling me you guys were way up there before, so that's a good sign. Wow. How
Yes.
about have you talked to any of our mutual friends? Malcolm,
Not
Lynette,
lately,
Josh.
no.
Okay, okay. Well, I know that Malcolm and Lynette are on a trip. They've gone across the country to
Yes.
visit. Do you know about this? The long lost relatives?
Yes. That's an
That's
amazing
it
story,
really
hey?
is, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, it truly is. And how that whole thing started with Josh, 23andMe. Have you or your husband, Natalie, have you done any of those? Do you have any interest in ancestry kind of tracing? I haven't done that either.
I've got my siblings who do a bit of research, and if anybody's related to them, they'll be related to me. So
Yeah,
if
that's
they
true.
do
That's a
it,
good point. Yeah, yeah, that's a really good
and
point.
you?
I have not done that, but I'm kind of tempted. I would think that maybe one of these days might do that. I'm kind of scared to find out what I might discover. Maybe I've got a
Yeah.
first cousin right down the street that I don't know of. Well, that's
Yeah.
great. That's excellent. Well, Natalie, speaking of business, how's the rest of your year looking like business-wise? When you and I last spoke, it looked like things were on an upswing, and same thing with Anthony, our mutual other friend too. So, are you finding that same thing? It looks like it's getting better and busier too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying they're absolutely done with this pandemic. They're
You're
tired
right.
of it. They
Yeah.
want to get back to life. They want to do things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the first things they want to do is get their health issues back on track. So that is definitely something. Are you also finding that as well?
Yeah, same here. I think you're right. You just said it, same exact thing. Took the words right out of my mouth. I think everyone's just kind of ready to get back to a normal life and just things to return back to the way they were. And, it just seems like it's going to be that way. So that's good. That's a really good sign that we're out of this thing. Um, I
Yeah.
wonder, it makes me question, and I don't want to get hopes up too high, but do you think this is the end, possibly, or the beginning of the end of
I
this thing?
don't know. There are more people being vaccinated than there were. They've now
Right,
opened it
right.
up to 12 and up in our country. So that's a huge thing. That I know a lot of 12s and ups are getting vaccinated.
Okay,
So
okay.
that's good for school situation, that schools don't have to close,
Hmm.
because if everybody in 12 and up, or a lot of them, have been vaccinated, and then the teachers should also have been, I don't know if they are, but then there's no reason to close, and there's no reason to lose school time, because there's been so much school year lost, which I don't think they'll ever recover from here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That with the vaccinations available now to the school children, it's incredible. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And also, I've heard that virtually every second person here has basically had it. Most of our population live cheek by jowl, and with all the lockdowns, they are forced to even more so. And in other words, if you are in a forced small environment, whatever diseases are flowing around, everyone's going to get them. So I would think that on the whole, well, I'm just a person who just watches what goes on. Things are definitely on the up. But also, it's summer here, so people don't have as much winter flu here in summer as they do. So hopefully things will be improving. Who knows? I know that the 1918 Spanish flu, I think it was 2 or 3 years, and then it was gone.
Yeah,
So
that's
we're now
right.
on to the second year. So hopefully nobody knows. That's the bottom line. Nobody knows.
Yeah, that's true. But let's hope. You made a good point. Definitely. Not, I couldn't. Yeah, think more about that with school. Absolutely, that there was a lot of lost time, and who knows what kind of recovery that looks like, because it's definitely been a fight here in our country with vaccines and masks and politics. I mean, people are very divided. It's amazing. I mean, they're really split in half here, and it's clearly evident. And it's definitely been very hard, I think, on everyone. It just hopefully, you said it right. We've got to concentrate on our health, and that's the best thing to focus on in times like this, especially right now. I mean, there's no question about it. You're right. Well, that's good, Natalie. Well, so what is last couple of questions here before we let you get going? What else do y'all have planned for the rest of this weekend? Anything going on for the end of October into the beginning of the next month, November?
Well, as I mentioned, we've got local elections on Monday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And, they allowed over 60s to register for special votes, which
Cool.
I am.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm going to be doing it on Sunday. And
Okay.
Monday is a total free day. I can play around in my garden, sit around. I love reading, sit and read, just do nothing, catch up, take a breath. And I think a lot of people are looking forward to the weekend where they can just go vote and then do nothing.
Yeah.
With all the stresses and everything, I think people are looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and it looks like it might rain though. It is a bit overcast today, but still, the weather's good otherwise.
Good. Excellent. Well, and then the last couple of questions, Allie, before we let you get going, if you don't mind, go ahead and maybe tell everyone out there a little bit about your website, how to reach you, and what they can expect when working with you, please.
Okay, well, for those who don't know me, battled to lose weight for many, many years, for about 40 years, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I've lost about 120 pounds, 60 kilos, and it was through going through the low carb way, keto way, and I was so enthusiastic and loved it, and it's just changed my life. It made my husband's diabetes reverse. Obviously, if he starts eating the standard Western diet again, it'll come back, but on this way, his diabetes has reversed, my arthritis, I can move my fingers, that pain is gone, blood pressure's down, so many things that you cannot imagine. But nobody knows about it, so I became a coach. I did a few courses, and I love it. So that's how I'm with GoTarryn, because I've learned how to be a keto coach. You can get me on my Facebook pages, Living Keto with Nat or Natalie Joel. I'm on Instagram, Living Keto with Nat. I'm on LinkedIn as well. And you can email me, Living Keto with Nat at gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you.
Excellent, Natalie. Well, again, you're the best. Thank you so much for taking time out to do this, and everything you suggested in terms of how to prepare for the holidays, and the importance of exercise and eating correctly. And I think everyone out there listening and watching can benefit if they reach you and learn how to live life with you, and how to do the keto and Banting lifestyle as well. Because like you said, it's a diet. It's not a diet. It is a lifestyle. And so that's really good. Excellent. Well, thank you so much again, Natalie. Again, really appreciate your time. And as we fade to black and let you go, here comes your contact information right now, and we wish you a happy rest of the holiday season, too.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.